Hey, welcome back to the Metro Icon Podcast. Hope you're doing well. Mojo's happy to be back. Say hi, Mojo. Yeah, Mojo was out of commission last week, but he is doing much better, I think. We shall see. But still got his, vibe and still got his mode and still love it. Thank you very much, buddy. This is going to be a very, very special episode, but let's talk about what's going on, y'all. I don't know if y'all can see this little sign right here, but bam! That's right. Got selected as one of the finalists for the USKA karaoke competition happening all around DFW. So I'm excited to be able to perform at the finals sometime in September. But as well, there are still qualifiers that are happening right now. So make sure you guys go to uskakaraoke.com/events. Check out the last few qualifiers that are going to be happening over the next few weeks, including on Wednesday, August 14th at the Library Bar, my resident spot on Tuesdays and some weekend nights when I'm DJing. But there's going to be a one-night qualifier. So the nice thing about those singers is that they have an opportunity to go straight to the finals if they make it. I know, he's so excited, right, Mojo? You're so excited about it, too. So make sure you guys register, and if it's not for you, go ahead and let a singer know of the opportunity to become a Texas Cup finalist, go after $5,000 grand prize, and compete as a Texas Cup finalist against all the national finalists across the country in all the different states in Las Vegas. So again, go to uskakaraoke.com/events. Find out where the nearest qualifier near you is happening, register, and go show your stuff and make it happen. Other than that, y'all, you guys could always make sure to check me out on my platforms, like my website, www.theshowman.live, or on my Instagram at Sean K. Do It All, or you can look up Sean K. The Showman, should pull up anyway. But you can catch me at my weekly events. I usually have... the episodes usually were coming out on Sundays. Now they come out on Wednesdays because, schedule adjustments. But last night I did my spot at the Library Bar hosting bingo karaoke, which I do every Tuesday from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. And then tomorrow night, Thursdays, I'm at Scout inside the Statler Hotel from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. hosting bingo karaoke. And in case you guys don't know how bingo karaoke works, he's pushing the keys. Bingo numbers are called with every karaoke singer that comes to sing on stage. And you have the opportunity as a bingo winner to win gift cards to the establishment that you can put towards your tab that night. So make sure you guys are following me on my Instagram page, which is where usually I'm posting on the next events. And letting you guys know right now, Thursday, September 19th, back at it again with my homie George Red Speaks, with the Sunset Comedy Boat Party happening at Lake Louisville. Tickets are available right now on Pre-Kindle, also coming on Eventbrite, but get them now. Limited seats available for one of the best boat parties, comedy shows that you will possibly see around the DFW area, and it ain't happening nowhere else around here. So other than that, y'all, let's go ahead and talk about this very special episode. This is an on-site episode that I recorded on one of my trips and events in Chicago, and I'm sitting down finally with my mentor, the guy who is the reason for Sean K. The Showman, the guy who is the reason I'm in this business in the first place, the guy who is incremental to my mentoring and my capabilities and my growth as a man and human being. I'm sitting down with one of my closest friends, one of my closest colleagues, and my mentor, Marz Lawhorn of Charizma Entertainment. And we have a very deep conversation. This is one episode that I can say, proud to say, I felt really good about staying silent and just listening, because I can listen to this man talk for days. Mojo's waiting to hear what Marz has to say. So either way, y'all, go ahead. Turn your speakers up. Here is my episode with my mentor, Marz.
This stuff is really fresh.
You can do it all. You can.
Do it all, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special episode of the Metro Icon Podcast. I am your host, Sean K., the showman of Doitall Entertainment and DIA Media, and you know what we do on this show. We talk about the world of entertainment and media and the icons that live in it. Sometimes I don't know how to classify the person as an icon or not, or sometimes they simply are. This person in front of me, ladies and gentlemen, is probably one of the most impactful human beings that has ever made a presence in my life. A long-standing showman himself. He is the owner of Charizma Entertainment. He is one of my closest friends. He is one of my brothers and somebody that I call a mentor in my life. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Marz Lawhorn.
What's all these people doing in this studio?
Ghost.
Ghost is ghost.
The ghost audience. My brother,
Listen,
I'm so happy that we are finally sitting down and we are capturing this episode, having this moment. Let me start, even though I already asked this. How are you?
you know what, man? I am amazing because I choose to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you'll throughout this, you'll understand is that a shift, just a mental shift, in the way that you approach things. I mean, I feel like a breeze going through a canyon. I'm just following along and stuff like that, and nothing impedes my path but myself. So I'm good. My girls are good. You know my girls, Madeline and Olivia. You know, they graduated from high school. So it's been interesting. I won't say weird, but it's been interesting because as a parent, you are always constantly on a moment by moment basis. When they're in school, in high school. Now that Olivia's transitioning and Madeline's transitioning, the parenting aspect shifts in the whole
Transitioning into adulthood.
adulthood.
Yes.
In adulthood.
Yeah.
Thank you.
2024. You don't know what the transition could be.
Hey, you have to ask. You have to ask these days. But for me, is that I feel like a senior advisor. It's like, okay, they come to me with things in their life and they talk about everything. They just sent me a picture. They went to a party together. Just sent me a picture of it, and I just can't believe that these beautiful human beings are my daughters, and the way that we have our relationship right now. I am so unbelievably thankful because the foundation, every house that stands through the weather, the time and weather and stuff like that has a good foundation, and I feel like that myself, and their mom, provided them with a tremendous foundation so that they can be who they are right now. I want them to just spread their wings and fly.
Yeah.
Just fly.
And they got a beautiful home. They got a beautiful home, a beautiful support system. I'm sure you know, because your memory is far, far greater than mine. How long we have known each other?
Well, you know what? We go back for quite some time. You know what? I
Almost 20 years.
I can't remember it, but I think it might be 20 years.
Almost 20 years. Yeah. It's like 19 and a half years that you and I have known each other. It was short. It was just before I turned 19 that I came into Charizma.
Oh my God.
So, and I'm 37.
Oh my God, you're old.
Yeah, I'm old.
Okay.
What was I saying?
We're not gonna say anything about that.
We
yet.
don't talk about that.
That's right.
But for many people, and I've talked about this, and I've mentioned this man on numerous episodes because it is a known fact in my soul, my psyche, in my heart that there is no Sean K. the showman without this man. This man has taught me everything I know, even making me recognize you supposed to be on a microphone. It was this guy right here.
Yeah, I think that more so than anything, and I guess that's my superpower is
You recognize talent.
to recognize talent and also be able to recognize the opportunity for someone to see a part of themselves that they may not have noticed. Sometimes when like when you're in the forest, you can't really see how beautiful the trees are.
Yeah.
You step outside of it, and for yourself, is that I can't believe the journey that I've watched you go through, both professionally and personally, and being able to ride along, to ride alongside you and watch the ups and downs and everything like it. And now seeing you at a place to where I can tell from being friends for more than half your life. How about that?
Yeah.
For more than half your life, and seeing you at a place up here that says, "Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm good," because that's the only thing that really matters to me right now is that the people that I come in contact, both with my clients and also my friends like yourself, is that I care about that good. Because if that good, if you're right upstairs and your energy's good, then you don't have to worry. You can do wherever. You can go anywhere.
Right.
You can go anywhere.
Actually, let's move the mic a little bit closer because
Is that better?
Yo, so much,
So much better.
so much better. Do you remember? The moment when you told me that I was born to MC? Do you remember that moment by chance?
No, I only remember the moments I was telling you when you were doing shit wrong.
I remember them too.
It's just like with putting hits. I'm like, come on, man.
Also, something as simple as properly wrapping a cord.
Oh man, you know, I would grab it from you.
No, not even. First time this man from across the room.
Across
No! Let me show you how that's done.
You have to understand is that back then I was slightly intimidating, and when I would say something, not only my people,
Just slightly.
my people would freeze, the whole room would freeze.
Whole room
Would freeze.
because you would be yelling at one person and everybody thinks that it could be them.
Yeah, I was a little scary. I didn't have the hair that I have. You know, I was a little bit bigger. I was a gym rat back then. But you know what? Here's the thing.
You still maintain well, especially for.
Yeah, I'm gonna be celebrating a big birthday this
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
I'm gonna be turning 60.
Woo! Hell yeah.
That's right. And, you know, I'm happy about mostly happy about that because during the pandemic, you know, I was diagnosed with cancer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm cancer free and everything. So in that sense, it's for me, you know, having cancer didn't change my path of how I think. You know, it was a speed bump in that sense. And
But I think that your outlook has shifted in such a glorious way.
It hasn't. That's what I'm saying. Because sometimes a major illness shifts people. But I was on this path before cancer
Right.
hit me in that sense, to where that I wanted to quiet the noise in my head. And that's what happened. Is that I found balance by just accepting myself in a way that I've never looked at before.
Yeah.
And for anybody out there, is that, you know, the light and the dark of you is you, and you can't deny either side of that. You can't deny either side. But once you, and this is a short version. I don't want to talk about this in length, but the shortest thing is that once you come at peace with the side of you that you may not be so accepting of, then all the noise in your head is going to quiet down.
Yeah.
I mean, the room will simply go silent because you can hear yourself breathe, because now you're not fighting. You know, you're not fighting those demons anymore. And for me, it only allowed me to be better at what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I have a lot of people like yourself who come to me, and I don't advertise. I don't do anything. I will help anybody be what they need to be when it comes to being an MC, a phenomenal MC for special events, or to be able to be a working DJ entertainer. I have tools to teach people, or I can look at them and assess, hey, let's work on this and things like that. And I have only one rule. If you're going to come to me and you want me to help you, you have to work as hard as I'm going to work for you to get you to sell.
Or harder.
You know, in that sense. So, I think about it. I sat back the other day and I thought about all the people that I have in my life. Yourself, Sanu, Ari, Scott,
Brad, Ryan, Ian.
The list goes on and on of people. I mean, now, DJ Solo, DJ Rain, all the people that have come to me at any time and sat down with me and said, okay, could you help me with this? and they're wildly successful, and I'm so happy for them, because the one thing I will share with you is that, and most people aren't like this, but I don't have financial envy. I don't have professional envy. I don't have status envy. I am happy. I am happy being a teacher.
Yeah.
And watching people be successful in the way that they are. I.e. when, I remember when Sanu came, was about 6-7 years ago. I don't know how long it's been, but he was.
Oh no, this is probably even before we started Do It All. So
it was before Do It All.
So then that means it's over 10 years ago.
So I remember him being very, very much at a crossroad with his job, and he loved DJing. Mm-hmm. Okay, look where he is now. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was in Spain.
Yeah,
he's flying all over. You guys are flying all over the world.
He's going. He's definitely going to places where I'm just like, I'm gonna be there.
Yeah. And so in that sense, and to me, that's just one example. And then of course Scott. Mm-hmm. I mean, Scott was at my wedding. Mm-hmm. Okay, now here's the crazy thing is that I thought about this is that most of the people that I know, I've known them for half their life.
Yeah. And beyond. Yeah.
I've known for half their life. So that to me is probably the badge of honor that I like the most. Mm-hmm. Is that longevity in relationships are really where my focus is now. So that, once again, like with my daughters, I'm just an advisor. I talk with people about their life. You come in town, you're in Texas, you go, hey, I get a few moments and stuff, stop by the house. Not everybody gets to stop by the house. Mm-hmm. That's my inner circle.
Yeah.
And I don't like people.
You and me both, dude. You and me both.
I don't like people.
I only like the right people.
And when I say that I don't like people, it's because I let me preface by saying is that I watch the world's on fire right now.
Yeah.
Okay. There's just tons of stuff that are going on, but what I can't stomach is lack of accountability.
Yeah.
Lack of accountability. Yep. So I'm like, listen, you're going to get some L's. Mm-hmm. Take the L because you're always going to celebrate the wins, but take the L like a man or a woman or whatever you are. Okay. And then move on. But don't try to deny something that didn't quite fall your way. Because I've advised my girls, I'm like, listen, people talk about good decisions and bad decisions. I think there's just decisions. Okay. If you make a decision and it's not done, and the results of that decision is not quite the way that you want it to be,
sure,
it automatically tells you that you're not going to make that decision anymore. Mm-hmm, so you keep moving.
You win some and learn some.
You keep moving, but it's not a bad decision because what it does is allows you. It's that little push of wind that keeps your kite flying. Mm-hmm. If you're sailing up there, floating off, so you need a little push of wind. Like if you go in this direction and all of a sudden it's a W, it's a win, guess what you're going to do? You're going to continue down that path.
Right.
But the thing that's important that I share with my girls and with everyone is that make decisions, because if you don't make decisions, here's the scenario. Mm-hmm. You are a car in rush hour traffic in Chicago and you have stalled. Mm-hmm. And people are blowing their horns at you. They're yelling at you. They're passing you by. And eventually someone's going to be on their phone and rear end you. You're going to get run over by your own path. Mm-hmm. So if you continue moving, then guess what? You can keep up. And I just want to tell everybody, just keep moving. Mm-hmm. Make decisions. Keep moving. Keep doing what you want. I mean, and knowing your path and where you've arrived to this level of peace that I've never seen in you till now. Okay? In that sense.
This is a strong piece because, again, it just testimony is the fact that he's seen me through so many transitions in my own life of trying to really find trying to find a solid path, and I appreciate you recognizing that piece because my life is filled with a beautiful chaos right now.
I know, but I want to show everybody this. This is super awesome.
Look at that. Look at me with hair. Look at that. Look at this.
Look at this.
Look at this. Look at this guy with hair. Yeah.
Yes.
That was Susan G. Coleman?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
This is the beginnings of the showman. Okay, so if anybody wants to get in touch with me, we can put this on T-shirts and say, "Who the hell is this guy?"
Let me tell you, no one's gonna buy it.
You don't have to buy it. We just give it away.
Yeah, no.
But I was going through my thing and I was looking at. If you look close, look at my face in the background.
Yeah. Like
is that typical?
What the fuck is he doing?
Yeah, is it typical? It's totally typical. That's just, but I pulled that up because I just look at that from the standpoint of view is that.
I know when I had glasses and when I lost those pair, and then my parents were like, "We're not buying you another one."
Okay. Like, listen, if you can't see, but that right there, I look back and I say, I think not too many people know the journey in that sense, and not everybody's privileged to know the journey.
Yeah.
In that sense. But I want to say, from someone who is your friend, okay, mentor, whatever you want to call me, but I am your friend from one friend to another, from seeing the peace in you now. There is not a greater gift that I can get from you as a friend than to see you continue on the path that you are so that you can achieve anything you want in your professional career.
Thank you.
So in that sense. So.
And we'll probably say this many times, but I love you so much.
I love you more.
I love you very much.
I love you more.
I would take it back so you don't really recall the moment that when you recognized me as the MC. It was an 8th grade school dance, and we were getting done and packing up. And at the end of the party, you had given me 30 minutes. I think the last 30 minutes, you said, "Give me the microphone." I'm like, rock them. And you just said, "Let me see what you can do. Just go, rock them." And got these kids turned up. I remember there was the wall of kids, when the kids who are not engaging and they're just standing by the wall. And then I made an effort to go get those kids and then just brought all of them down on the floor. So party gets done. We're packing up the stuff. You're like, "Come here, I need to talk to you." And you pull me off to the side. I'm like, "Oh, fuck, I did something wrong."
He probably did something
I did something wrong. And then so this is where it gets very fun, because then I get to do my classic Marz impersonation. So he pulls me off to the side. We're on the stage in this theater auditorium gym, and then so you pull me side curtain kind of away from where the rest of the staff is, and then you're looking at me, you go, "There are certain people in this industry that want to become an MC, and then there are others who are born to do it. Which one do you think you fucking are?" And then you just walked away. That was exactly how you told me that I was meant to be an MC. And then
Oh my God.
we never readdressed it, and then just went back to packing up the shit. And you just left me alone in my thoughts to finish the rest of my fucking job.
That's so good. Listen,
Classic.
that's classic. That's classic right there. That person still exists, but in a different form.
In a
now.
way different way. So I will tell you
So,
that.
but let me ask you a question. From that point, what were the steps for you that said when that happened? How much did that change your path, or were you weren't even considering it?
It was never really a thought, because I think that when I came in, I think that there was the potential. Like when I came in, I was a dancer, but there was an opportunity for me to become an MC, but it wasn't really, definitely not anything to become full time. When that moment happened, I had to really think about it. I'm like, am I trying to become an MC, or was I born to do it? And I took it as he's trying to tell me I'm born for this. And that's the information that really guided me. And I think from that moment, because used to also, I think like at least once or twice a month, we would have
Training.
the training here in the office. And you delegated a lot of leadership roles to me from that point. And so it was easy for me to validate that he's given me this platform of responsibility and turning me into a leader because that's what an MC is an MC that understand and can facilitate all the roles. And to that knowledge too is that I didn't come in to learn how to DJ. I learned how to DJ only maybe 4 or 5 years ago, maybe on my own accord.
You strictly were the dancing and
MCing. Exactly. So like if you put me on an event to MC and I'm working with a DJ, I have to rely that DJ is going to understand full facet of knowing how to, run the sound and music and sound engineering and all that. But the beautiful part too, and the one thing that was a true gift that maybe I didn't really recognize it at the time was the fact that how you had all your dancers, MCs, dancers, whoever was working the event, we all set up our events. We all broke down our events.
Well, and that's still consistent with me today.
Yes.
And I feel like that, even though I'm in the twilight of that, in that sense, is that there's a part of me that believes that if your hands can understand what you need to do to make the magic, then you're going to appreciate being part of the magic more. So in that, I would never ask anyone to do anything that I wasn't capable or willing to do.
Right.
In that sense. And even I still set up my stuff, I still break down my stuff, in that sense. I have reduced my footprint. There's so many different ways.
Yeah,
I mean,
you got to
remember those
delegate.
heavy ass speakers and stages and boxes and stuff like that. Oh, I'm like, Jesus Christ! I mean,
Trust bases.
oh my God, these
The
things,
amount of times those things banged up into my shin, my ankles, bro.
dear God. But you know what? Here's the thing: is that those foundational pieces of the production side.
Yeah.
I feel like that. Knowing the foundation, okay, this is going to be my stage for the night. This is going to be my stage for the night. So I have to prepare my stage. To be able to prepare your stage and then deconstruct your stage helps you understand how important it is to do it.
Well, I mean, again, it's just testimony that, when you become into a leadership role as an MC, you have to understand all facets of your production in space. So in the event something arises, you know how to troubleshoot, yet also overcome the moment and keeping the show alive and doing the job at hand and making sure that, the crowd and the audience doesn't understand that maybe something might be going awry, but you understand what needs to be done. You're able to properly delegate it or the responsibility if you're not taking care of it yourself, but also guide the flow of the event to where it needs to be. So that there's
I mean that part is important. As I've gotten to where I am, in my career, I think what's more important is today is not mentally diminishing any role. You know what? After every event now, I say thank you to my team. I want to thank you for being here.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for your effort and stuff like that.
Yeah, likewise.
And anybody that works with me, I've had some people independent come and work with me, are simply blown away with that. I shake people's hands and say thank you, good job, appreciate your energy and support and everything like that. We were great, okay?
Yeah.
And that's how I am now, in that sense. I was like that before, but I didn't know how to do it until I had to experience some tremendous amount of metamorphosis and change. And now, from this standpoint of view, is that when I have to search for someone to come fill a role for me, I mean, it's easy because people know what the process is. They know that they're going to be treated a certain way. They know that the product is going to be pristine. It's charisma.
Yeah.
Okay. We always say charisma. We never do bad parties.
Yeah.
You'll never hear anyone say it was a bad party.
Oh yeah.
No, that doesn't happen at all.
Yeah. And so let's bring it back a little bit. When did your entertainment journey like really start? Because you were in the military.
Okay. Yes.
And so I'm assuming that you weren't doing entertainment prior to that. Yeah.
No. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I'm going to give you the short story because otherwise we'd be here for a week.
Yeah.
When I came to Illinois, in Chicago, I was stationed at Great Lakes.
And originally from Louisiana?
I'm born in Louisiana, but I lived in Kansas City.
Okay.
Cheese. But anyway, when I was stationed up at Great Lakes, I was a dental assistant in the Navy. That's what I did. That's what my job is. I was a dental assistant. And I used to go dancing every night of the week. Okay. One of the little known facts about me, unless you talk to me, is that at the time I was 22. Okay. Don't drink, don't smoke, and to this day, never tried any drugs that weren't prescribed to me. Okay. So that's my life. And I would go dancing 6 nights a week. And I just love dancing. Just love dancing. It didn't matter. It didn't matter if I danced with someone or anything, I would dance. But I got discovered by Walter Payton.
Yep.
I got discovered by Walter Payton.
Yep.
Tuesday night, ladies' night, confettis is how it happened. And the short version is that ultimately he was closing down that club, opening up his namesake 34s, which was Walter's number, and he needed these routines we call showtimes.
Yeah.
To open up the club. And they needed a happy hour DJ.
Which is essentially like a cabaret kind of night, right?
It was kind of cabaret. Like
Yeah.
we go out, we do a couple shows and stuff like that. So what was interesting is that they said they need a happy hour DJ. At the time, I was studying for my Series 7. I was selling front-loaded mutual funds for that's what I did. I would go dancing. People were like, oh my God, you're a great dancer. What do you do? Sell mutual funds. They're like, no way. I'm like, yeah. So when the opportunity was presented to me is that, hey, we want you to be a DJ. I've never DJed before in my life.
Yeah.
So
And this is during the time of milk crates, records.
absolutely.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
So
you are lugging shit.
Yeah.
you know?
But I was going to be DJing in a club. I said, okay, mutual funds, girls. I said, dancing, girls. Nightclub, girls. And I'm like, okay. So I made the leap. So my regiment was I'd wake up at noon. I would be at the club. I would practice from noon until 5 o'clock, and then I would go eat, and then I would do happy hour. That was my regiment. And then after happy hour was from 7 to 9. I was the floor starter. I was the person that used to get people to dance. This is back in 1989. And I was
2 years old.
Thank you. Okay. And I was making them $10 an hour. It was a big deal back then.
Yeah.
Okay. And it wasn't work. It was freedom. Every time I got on the dance floor, I was free. And you know what? If you lived in Chicago, you know what was going on. House music all night long. Move your body, rock your body. Gotta have house music all night long.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I'm just telling you right now, when I heard house music, I swear that was my drug.
Yeah.
I mean, back then they called it jacking. You would get on the floor and you would just jack. It was just jack. But I'm telling you right now, there was nothing.
Feel it.
There was nothing that could get me off the dance floor. I don't care how beautiful she was. She didn't make a difference. If she couldn't dance, she couldn't talk to me.
Yeah. I feel that. I 100% feel that.
Could not talk to me.
Yeah.
So that's how I got started. And then in '94, I moved into the private sector. I was made an offer by another entertainment company, Bizarre Entertainment. Okay, and I stayed there for about 10 years, and then my partners, people that I worked with in the clubs, Sean was Lance and JP. I brought them over to Bizarre, and then everything changed. Lance needed to make more, okay, and he was going to leave. And he said, I can't do it without you. He said, you have the acumen to be able to deal with clients in a way that I can't. Because Lance was phenomenal. By the way, everybody talks about me being an absolute phenomenal performer. Lance and I were the same person, 1 and 1A. At the time, he was just a nicer person than I was. I was moody as shit. I was so moody, man. I was so moody. They used to call me what's that? What's that? The term? Not ADHD.
Like bipolar.
Bipolar Marz.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that till later.
Yeah.
Like don't mess. And like he's so nice. I'm like they're like just wait.
Yeah. There's a moment.
There's a moment. So you've experienced some of those. I mean, when I lose my shit. But anyway, he said we're gonna go on our own. So we did it, and he never got the chance to enjoy any of that. Because the day that we decided to leave and move on, Lance had a stroke, and that's around Valentine's Day, and and on Valentine's Day, he was gone. I mean, we started Charizma,
Right.
and he was gone.
Yeah.
And Charizma was his idea.
Yeah.
It wasn't mine. It was his idea.
Yeah.
Because in 2004, I was going to leave the industry and go back and become a child psychologist because I just feel like that children didn't have enough people to talk to.
Yeah.
And if you know anything about my life,
Right.
how crazy would it have been if I was a child psychologist with everything that's happened with my life?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Right.
So it's insane. But yeah,
I think you would have been good at it though.
I know I would have been great.
Yeah, you would have been great at it.
But with that said, is that Charizma happened. Okay, and 2 decades later, I'm gonna sit on your podcast.
Yeah.
That's the short version.
Yeah.
Anybody wants to know the long version, you can always DM me on my Instagram and say, "Hey, tell me the rest of the story, Uncle Marz." And I'm like, "Well, sit down here, little sonny."
Back in my day,
I want to. Do you like some milk or some cooking some water or some watermelon so we can sit and talk? But
and if you can't notice, he always has the watermelon handy.
So in that sense, so that's how it happened. But now I feel like a renaissance in that sense because I feel so proud. I knew you and so many others when they were kids.
You knew me as a boy. 100%. You knew me as a boy, and you actually are a key element to me developing my manhood, which I'm so incredibly gracious for because you understand, like, I don't need to go into details, but I mean, I have a very particular relationship with my own family, especially when it came to navigating myself into going into this career, especially full time, with the expectations that came from my family that was fairly traditionalistic. I'm not. My parents actually, they're leaps about a lot of Indian parents that hold those expectations, and there's zero growth or evolution. They've evolved into very different people, but they still have their ways and things and the way they
old people. When
exactly.
They get to a point and they're like, listen, I'm not trying to improve.
But there was, you seen me in many points where I would come to you and be like, my family, I can't get my family to just understand, right? And having to place those, like, lay out the expectations of what I had to do and having to navigate my personal truth or my own happiness and what I felt was best for me. And you have really seen a lot of my own even personal tragedy and having to just really, even to the strength of leaving your shit at the door to get the job done and picking it up when you leave. And
like, leave it at the door.
Yeah, and
you can always pick it up when you leave.
Yeah, and you were the person that really taught me how to do that. Man, like, there's so much that I'm so grateful that I have the strength and the awareness for, that I can really say that you were a prime catalyst to recognize a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, but I also think that, please give yourself some credit because we all get information to help us, not to guide us, and to give us an opportunity to be different. But not everybody decides to do that. it takes a tremendous amount of self-awareness and strength to say, I'm going to take someone else's advice and use it for my life and see how it works. At the end of the day, you know as well as I do, people don't do that.
Yeah.
Because everybody, listen to this, and it's true, is that if you're thinking about this, most of the time you don't disagree with yourself.
Yeah.
When you can learn to disagree with yourself, you're going to grow.
Yeah.
You're going to grow. So if I can give any message out there, is that if you learn to disagree with yourself, then you're going to grow, because you're going to be able to, it's like you're going to start receiving fresh air.
Yeah.
And once you get it in your lungs, you breathe, you can walk a little bit faster, you can walk a little bit further and stuff like that. I say to clients all the time, I said, listen, I don't want to be right. I want to get it right. And if getting it right means that you need to do something different, then let's just do it. Prime example, I was at a party a couple weeks ago. We were at a camp, and a guy comes over to me, and he has a baby, and he starts telling me.
You're still doing camps?
No. It was a wedding.
Oh, okay.
It was a wedding at a camp.
Oh, beautiful.
No. If someone asked me to do it, but it was a wedding at a camp. A bride wanted a wedding at a camp, and we had 3 different setups. We had 3 different sound setups. Which, by the way, listen, technology couldn't have done that back in the day. We were wireless and battery powered because we're out in the woods.
Yeah.
But this guy comes over to me. He goes, and he has this look on his face. He starts telling me this story about how loud it is and everything like that. I have a baby. And I'm like, dude, stop. And he said, no, I need you to hear me. I said, I don't need to hear you. You want me to turn the music down? Okay, I'll turn it down. He's like, okay. I said, I'll turn it down. I'm good. And that's the maturity of understanding that why don't you just do what you need to do for people?
I mean, this was a guy that was a guest.
It was a guest.
Okay.
It's a simple guest. Nobody in particular, but he was next to the speaker where the baby was, and it was too loud for them. So just turn it down. Because if for any reason the couple comes up to me and says, I can't hear it, then I will turn it back up to our level, and then I will look at the person and said, I was directed by the couple. You know what? You can go speak with them. I said, but I don't have any problem for anybody saying, hey, turn this down. Or like when someone comes up and says, and it doesn't happen hardly ever. I'm like, God, this song's horrible. And I will say, it sure is. What do you think we should play?
Yeah.
You know what? What do you think you should play?
Good music.
What? No. But what happens is that I'm like, do you have a suggestion?
Yeah.
Immediately, you catch them off guard because they're not. Everyone expects a fight. They expect a fight. I'm like, listen, this is horrible. Yeah, it's horrible too. I said, but you know what? You want to tell me something else that's going to pack the dance floor like it is now? I'll be more than happy to play it for you. If you don't have anything right now, why don't you come back a little bit later and tell me so I can take care of you? I can take care of you. The last thing that people hear when they walk away from me is, I can take care of you, which is consistent with the way that I live my life. What can I do to take care of you? Because if you're in my presence, I feel like that I have a level of responsibility to you to be able to have you live in an oasis, an ecosystem that's all green, that you can enjoy yourself in that sense. And it doesn't make a difference whether you stop by the house or, we stop by an event or we go get a Italian ice or whatever the case may be. But for me, in my own sense of self, I want everyone, whether they are a client or a stranger or anything like that, if they're in my presence, is to feel a sense of calm. And when you have a sense of calm
and welcome, yeah,
when you have a sense of calm and welcome, and it's awesome. Like, look at my arms. Okay, I got my girls' names tattooed in here.
Which is old Marz.
So in this sense, I got these because every time I saw them, I would do this,
and
they would run into this, what they call the safe zone. Now it's the safe zone, and they know, and they come in, And when my daughters, who are 18, twin 18-year-old girls, when they come in and they hug me and they're not looking for the exit plan. They come in, they hug me, and they stay there. And I can feel their energy saying, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
You know, in that sense. And that's how I treat the world. You know, I look at my life as that there's these circles. I'm the epicenter, and there's these circles, and everybody fits on one of these circles and stuff like that, you know. And it's still consistent with the energy, is that I try to be risk averse. So, you know, I'm not trying to create chaos where I am. I'm tremendously protective and supportive, and you know that. You know, often, you know, I'll text, hey, hope you're doing okay. I seen you. You know, I'm paying attention. You know, all these things.
I also love the your motivational reels that you send me on Instagram.
When I know that it possibly may apply, I send those.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that those things inspire me. So things that inspire me, I want to share.
Yeah.
So in that sense.
So you to be actually also breaching the big 6-0 and still doing what you are doing at such an active level, I think is such a rarity, because there's so many people that are in this industry that you know, frankly, they don't even make it to even see 50, you know? And so to see where you're at and reaching 60 and having the energy and the activeness and the execution you do, it's truly incredible. Do you feel like there's any slowdown that's kind of coming?
Of course, there's natural slowdown because, you know, I just want to enjoy my life. You know, I have a beautiful human being in my life, Melaine. Her name's Melaine, and she's my forever person. And just being with her. We don't have to do everything. We don't have to do anything, and we can do everything, and we'll still be in the same place. But here's the interesting thing. I had this conversation with someone. Someone says, that's another. I was at a party, and this guy goes, "You're Marz?" I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "You did my mitzvah," and he was like 37. He said, "I can't believe you're still doing this." I said, "Let me ask you a question. Would you say this? Would you ask the same question to a doctor? Or a lawyer?
Right.
Or an accountant?
Yeah.
Like, they're doing their profession. But I think that the view of being a DJ entertainer is that I view it similar to skateboarding. When people thought skateboarding wouldn't be a career, it's not a career for everybody. But Tony Hawk proved that it's a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Or video games.
Yeah. So when we were like, you know, stop playing those video games. How many kids now have made tons and tons of money because they're good at a specific game? You know what? DJing is the same way in that sense. It's not a profession that professionals look at that you have a degree on the wall. But guess what? Everyone feels emotion when they hear music.
Yeah.
Whether it's a person that loves fucking opera or classical music, or if they love thrash metal, music is emotion. And if you can learn how to play and manipulate and augment music for the audience that's in front of you, then you're going to have longevity. Okay? I mean, I'm old school and everything like that in the sense of what I like. I'm a blues guitarist and I like that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day is that as much as, and every generation's like this, oh, your fucking music sucks. It sucks. But you know what? There's also some good stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's also some good stuff. And you know as well as I do, these kids are like, this is awesome. Like, you know, Nicki Minaj song, Everybody. Okay, guess what? That was a remake of this, and that was a remake of this. I mean, things in hooks and stuff, they come from places and stuff like that, you know.
It's like that new song, a bar song, Shabuzi, which is like a country twist off of Tipsy by Jaquan, you know? And that song is so popping right now.
It's bang. It
Yeah.
slaps. And
Yeah.
people like, could you play the bar song? You know, and
I just learned how to mix from that song right after the bridge, going right into Tipsy by Jaquan. I just learned how to mix that.
and people but being a DJ, I love it. I just so love. There's never a moment where the DJing aspect of just because the creativity is limitless. It's the same as an MC, and I think that to become a great MC, you need to be able to be. I use the analogy is that you need to be like driving in a car down a road. The scene is constantly changing, and as an MC, if you're standing in front of someone and you want to engage the audience, the number one thing, at least in my universe and all the people that have worked underneath me, is that don't start until you have the results that you want, and don't talk about yourself. People, you know what? People love hearing about themselves. Talk about them.
You know, it's funny because it's every bride and groom I talk to as far as clients, I always tell them my job is very easy. It's simply to remind them why they're there.
And
Yeah.
and you know what? They probably look at you and go, they're trying to make more out of that. But it really is to remind people why they're there. Why are you here? Okay, you are here, and I take it one step further, Sean. In that sense, is that whenever I talk to someone, I said, "Did you ever imagine that you would bring your family and friends together for one occasion and make everyone happy on a specific day? That's what you've done for your universe and your family. How awesome is that?"
Yeah.
Okay, don't take that lightly. To know that you put everybody in one place for one specific amount of time, and it was beautiful because the next time that happens, someone will be missing for one other reason, and that person may or may not be significant, but they're going to matter. Uncle so and so is not here because Uncle so and so is not here. And the last time he was here, he had a great time, and it was because you invited him to your event. And I'm more cerebral when I'm talking about people, and I think that Charisma has evolved into this company to where that people know they know we crush.
Yeah.
It's not the issue, but they want someone who can connect with them and understand that, you know what, it means more than, you know, having a rager late night. It means being able to look and see their family and know what's going on. Being a storyteller, and you know this as well.
Yeah.
Comedian, showman, all these things, is that being a storyteller. But that storytelling that I try to hone for people now is that driving in the car. Why don't you do it in real time? Hey, you know, when I came into a venue, I saw this young lady with a beautiful flower dress, and I looked at her and I'm like, "You look amazing." Her boyfriend says she's taken. Yeah, this is one of the monologues.
Yeah,
I did.
right.
Boyfriend says she's taken. And I looked at him with just a very simple look. I said, "I want you to appreciate how much time and effort and attention to detail that she took today to make sure that she looked amazing when she walked out of the house and held on to your arm." Dead silence from him. It's awesome.
Yeah.
You guys look amazing. Even now, every confrontation I have, I want to
spin it.
I
Like
spin
flip
it
back.
so
Yeah.
people can think.
Yeah.
And part of that is my own little campaign to put out the fire that the world is on. There's not a love. There's so much divide and not lack of continuity, and people wanting to. If you disagree with them, they want you to end instead of saying, "Okay, let's agree to disagree."
Yeah.
And but it doesn't change the fact is that, you know, you're a good person, I'm a good person, and whatever the case may be. There's just so much lack of the next step in that sense. But I don't have that in my universe, okay? And I'm actually writing a seminar called the ecosystem of an entertainer. And when I have it, yeah, I'll share it with you. And I'm in the process of doing it because I'm gonna be presenting at a seminar.
Of course.
So in that sense, is that it has to do with the simple things, and part of it is that longevity in this industry comes from not thinking about it as a gig.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
A gig.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's event to me is a gig. Just stop for a second. When you start thinking of it as a gig, you put it in a box of average. Oh, I got this gig tonight. It's from 5 to 6, and I don't know if gig is a band term or anything like that, but I have an event with people that have played handsomely to have me there,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a level of priority in my mind that I want to have for every single event that allows me to perform at a level that when someone's watching, that they literally are learning and watching and going, okay, yes, that's legit. Even when my people work with me, they're like, every single time they learn at least one thing. Like, God,
Mm-hmm.
my God.
I can agree.
So
I can agree.
So in that sense, is that Walt and I did that wedding up at the camp wedding, the mother-son dance. How did I introduce the mother-son dance? Groom is standing next to his mom. I walked over to her and I said, how does it feel to hear all these people say so many awesome things about
What's up, B-Red?
what's up, man? How you doing? Yeah. How does it feel to hear all these people say so many awesome things about your son? She goes, it's amazing. I said, you know what's more amazing? Being able to dance with him on his wedding day. The floor is yours. Transition.
Boom.
And my guy looked at me and go, I'm stealing that. But part of that has to do with not trying to find the perfect words, but looking for the moment that allows the words to be perfect.
Mm. Oh my God. Just magic. Because one thing I definitely you've taught me is that because it's very easy for an MC to have that transition line. You know what I mean? Like we're like, oh, okay, it's the cake cutting, so our sweethearts are gonna come from their sweetheart stage to that tower of sweets. Let's all watch this sweet moment together. Like you can take that. I'm like, oh, that's good. Okay, and kind of reuse it, rehash and stuff. I remember you were on it. This was probably in more the latter years of us working together. And I think within the span of like 3 or 4 events, you noticed that I was almost saying the same thing during certain moments. And you were like, you're fucking better than that to be saying the same shit. Make it more personal. Like you have the ability to do it. Fucking do it. Like make the moment more personal. Take it and be able to really manipulate or manifest the moment of what is in front of you, and stop saying the same shit for everybody.
Yeah, but that's also that's what I'm saying is that if you have to work on your craft, and working on your craft is just being observant.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, is that for anyone watching out there, in that sense, if you want to be able to instantaneously have data, to be able to any instructions, whether it's a wedding, a mitzvah, a charity event, anything like that, you ask a father. I mean, what's the easiest question to ask a father on a wedding day? How do you feel about your child getting married? Okay? They give you the answer. Now, 15 minutes later, you have to introduce that person, that man. When I was talking with Bob about Sarah and how he felt about seeing his daughter married on that day, he shared with me that he couldn't find the words, and he had to pause himself from trying to let tears come out of his eye
Yeah.
because of that sense. It's so simple to me to be able to take fresh data,
Mm-hmm.
and you can get it everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Fresh data to be able to transition and make things happen. I look at emceeing and DJing like Olympic rings. If you look at the Olympic rings, they perfectly overlap one another. But the places where they overlap is the transition. If you can make sure that the transitions are smooth, you won't notice that there's 5 rings.
Wow. All right. Well, that's magic right there.
Magic.
Now, you've really developed your team. Talk a little bit about the team that you've developed in house with here in the office and warehouse space.
Well, here's the thing: is that it's been ebb and flow. When we were heavy into doing bar and bat mitzvahs, I had a staff of 40. Okay, we have a staff of 5 now. Okay, the reality is that it's changed so much because we have a CRM that has a tremendous amount of power that clients can get in touch with us. In addition to that, is that the pandemic taught us so many things. This is one of them. Everybody has a podcast to be able to talk with one another and things like that. But the way that we gather and deliver information now makes it much easier for us to spend more time on the craft. So in developing the team in that sense, so I'll give you an example. Somebody wants to work with us. I ask them why. And the first thing I said when someone asked me, and this is really interesting, is I said, okay, what do you know? Tell me about myself. So if someone sits down with me and they say, hey, I'd like to think about working with you, I'll say, tell me about me. What do you know about us? I want to know how you see us, because how you see us is how the world sees us. In that sense, what do you see about? What about our website? What about this? What about that? Okay, how do you see us? And it's a question to catch people off guard. What do you tell me about myself? What do you know about me? What information out in the world have you seen that you know about me?
Right.
So in that sense,
It's just like a general reference that somebody just pushed you my way, or have you seen the work in hand? You're like, I want to fucking do that.
yes, absolutely. And part of that has to do with, it's not a automatically no with people, but what it is it's a barometer to start in that sense, to let them know that this is not just going to show up and I do a few this. I've been doing family parties and I want to get paid this and stuff like that. Because I just truly believe is that, you know what, you can make money in this. You can make handsome salary by doing this. But there's so many things, just like with law school and being a doctor, there's so many things that people don't see behind the scenes that you have to do to get to this level.
Right.
I didn't get to this level by just showing up and going, okay.
Yeah, let me play this music.
First of all, I've lived.
Yeah.
I lived. And secondly, I've had along the way people that I've admired and people that I, look at inside and outside of the industry, in that sense, and say, I want to know a little bit about their path so that I can take pieces. We call them nuggets. Just take a nugget to add it to your thing and go, okay, I'm gonna add this. I'm gonna add this. I'm gonna add this. And one of the things that recently that came to me, as far as the team's concerned, is that they call it what would Marz do? Okay, what would Marz do in this moment? Everybody has
WWMD.
Yeah, WWMD. Okay. So WWMD. What would Marz do in a moment in that sense? So when we get the team together, we just throw it in the middle of WWMD. What about this? What would you do? And they throw rapid fire questions to me, and I'm able to answer them in a way that go, wow, I didn't even think about that. I said part of thinking about this is not trying to think that you need to solve the problem. You need to understand why they're asking the question. And that's how.
Where's the intention? Yeah.
Okay, so when someone asks me a question, I'm not going to answer the question. I'm going to ask them, why are you asking that question? Because that's the part that's the real that's the real secret.
Substance. Yeah.
The real substance in that sense is that are you going to eat that cake? It could be as simple.
I love cake.
I love cake. But if you're gonna eat, why I don't want, in listening to just simple things that people say, clients and also team members in that sense, I ask them why. And then I do something absolutely amazing. I shut up and I listen until they are finished, which is my number one thing. And people, you've noticed over the years, is that I've been accused of this, is that people ask me what's wrong. And when they're talking to me, I look at them in the eyes. And I didn't realize this, Sean, is that people, that's not normal when you're listening to someone, for someone to look at you directly,
Oh yeah. Oh,
and
people get very thrown off too.
they're thrown out, like,
Yeah.
what's the matter?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm just listening. And I go, oh. I said, you want me to listen like this? Okay. I mean, and I said, I'm just listening. Well, you're not saying anything. I said, I'm waiting till you're done. I'm waiting till you're done. I said, is it important for me to listen to you and hear you to the end? Or is it important for me to hear you, interrupt you, forget what you're really trying to articulate to me, and then go through that?
Mm-hmm.
I've shifted people's complete thinking by just listening. So I shut up and listen, and then I ask the same question whenever I ask somebody. I said, so if you're going to talk with me, if anybody's going to come to me with advice or anything, want to talk, I said, okay, do you need me to listen? Do you need me to listen and respond? Do you need me to listen and respond or help? Which one is it? So before we start any conversation, that's how it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I can prep myself based on the information you're going to get me, and then from there, let them give me the information, and then, okay, whatever category that falls in there, now I can jump in there and answer it any way they want to.
Yeah.
And then go from there, And then the other thing is that there's some things in the universe that are really simple. SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. If anybody wants to change your life, start SMART goals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want to clean my room. Okay, how long is it going to take? When are you going to do it? When's the end game? All those things. You just have to nail yourself down. The thing that I find extremely important for longevity is that we have to respect boundaries. Now, here's the thing that's important. In that sense is that I'm not talking about the boundaries of the people that we perform for.
Mm-hmm.
Our own boundaries. Okay, how many nights did you work, like a Thursday, Friday, you work on Saturday, driving Sunday, and then you turn around on Monday and you try to work?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, no. We underestimate, Sean,
Mm-hmm.
the amount of mental energy it takes
Oh yeah.
to be what it is. And it's just as exhausting if you're lifting 100-pound weights. People don't get it.
Because it's like because you can actually even physically be like ready and actually capable of being able to execute, but then this is completely drained just because of just the exhaustion.
And the emotional energy that we give to our craft as an MC and a DJ, as a showman, all those kind of things, is not measurable to anyone but the people that are around us, that sees what we put into it and how we come home.
And to that too is you also taught me that the crowd's only going to give you 50% of what you give them. So if you want 100% back, you better give 200.
You got to give 200, or you have to give them something that's going to be, I want to say legendary, but not legendary. It's going to be
impactful.
It's going to be impactful. That's good in that sense, because in emceeing is that there's some simple things that I talk with people. Okay, you don't want to be a zoo animal. Okay, where you're talking and you're going back and forth and everything like that. Okay, the other thing is this: is that where is it at? Do I have it at? Oh, hold on. I'm sure. Hold on, just a second. I bust my guys and my people on this all the time. This right here.
Mm-hmm.
Is that? I said, go ahead and eat it. Eat it. Eat that dick. Just stick it in your mouth.
Oh yeah, the man, the way this man has shifted the way I just hold a microphone. I cannot tell you. I cannot tell you the amount of times that we would be doing an event. And I'm like talking to him, and I'm holding the microphone. I'm cupping it like I'm about to like fucking rap a freestyle and shit. I'm like, stop holding it like that. There ain't no dick in your mouth.
But guess what? Here's the thing. Look at this. This is real simple. If you're like this, you know what you just did? You just put a barrier between you and your audience.
Yeah.
If you do this, they can see that beautiful manicured mustache and smile and everything like that.
Show T.
You know, they can see that. They
Yeah.
can't see it like this.
Right.
We want to eliminate as many barriers as we possibly can. So you don't want to be a zoo animal, and you don't want to put barriers up in that sense. And you don't have to have the most craziest, vocabulary, but you want to speak with purpose. Okay, and you don't want to have what I call a DJ cadence. Let's give it up for the.
Yeah.
You know what? And too many people who get in this industry have watched too much YouTube or TV, and they think they're hip hop stars.
Yeah.
Okay? As an MC, the more polish you can put on yourself, it puts distance between you and everybody else. And when they do see you perform, they know the difference. And that's what keeps them coming back and keeps referring and keeps doing all these things where they look at you and you were just on stage handling a gala. I emceed the Black Tie Gala for the Cancer Society last year. With my own personality and another person, but I was the MC. They chose me. It's a big time. It's a multi-million-dollar thing. They raise things, but I was able to be myself, but still be able to MC it in a way that people would listen and be able to respond to what I'm saying and how I say it. Because when I open up, I'm like, oh, this is so beautiful. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my phone, and I'm just going to go across it. When I start panning, I want you to just make some noise because we are going to raise a lot of money tonight. That's how I open up the thing.
Yeah.
And that's something that, from my personality, that I would do at any party, at any event, but I'm doing it at a gala. My point is that, things cross over. You just have to know timing. In that sense, and you know about that as a comedian, it's a timing. Timing is tremendously important. But you want to eliminate the things that put you in the bunch, pack. You want to get to the point where you're in a place as a DJ, as an MC, as a performer, that you aren't like, okay, for lack of anything, I know how this is going. This is just an MC. This is just a guy who does karaoke. He calls up names and do this and that. Like, no. If you're going to do something, do it so that you stand out without trying to stand out. And the best way to do that is to eliminate barriers. Don't be a zoo animal. And just acknowledge people. We have a group of women down front who are having a great time. They may be celebrating something. Ladies, if you need anything tonight, I want to let you know I'm not going to pay for it.
There it is. Yeah. Well, I think it's to add on to your point, it's performing with authenticity because people can sense bullshit. You know what I mean? You're performing with authenticity that's really showing who you are in the caliber of entertainment and your ability and how you're able to perform. But people can sense bullshit when you're just like kind of performing and trying to emulate a personality rather than showcasing yours.
Well, Sean, the thing that we don't even talk about is that we are so desensitized to greatness. Think about this. Think about at any moment we can pick up our phone and see somebody swallowing a sword, or guys break dancing in the air, or someone living in a box for 8 days. We are so desensitized to greatness that when we see it right in front of us, we don't even recognize it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't recognize it anymore that someone's was amazing until you're not in that moment and you get to the next moment where you said, oh, here's another wedding. And you go, oh, this wedding is lame compared to the last one. And you know what? In that very moment, they don't appreciate it until they're not there.
Mm-hmm.
They just realized that they appreciated that wedding, but they didn't give their time and energy at that time because they always think that the next one's gonna, not everybody, but it's amazing that when you look at it, I was there. Did I enjoy myself to the fullest? And this is a simple thing, okay? Because of the change in my life and me not being married anymore, in that sense, my daughters, when I see them, whether it's 1 minute or 1,000, my excitement is the same.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I absolutely positively want everyone to take with them, is the fact is that please do not waste the most precious resource in your life, which is time, by thinking about what you don't have.
Mm-hmm.
About what you don't have.
All right.
Because you're robbing yourself. You're robbing yourself of something so precious. This moment, like this moment is our moment. We're gonna be together. We're doing your show, and I'm so honored that you even want to do a show with me. I'm honored that you want to do a show with me. That's how present I am about this moment, because I don't know if this moment will ever happen again, but I know we had it. I know we'll have many moments because we're friends, and there's things that that the audience doesn't get to know about our life.
Yeah.
But in that sense,
You don't got the time. That's why. There's too much.
But don't think about, I'm not this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm this.
Yeah, I had to let go of that.
I know we talked about that quite a bit.
Yeah.
I'm not this.
Yeah.
I am this. And to accept yourself is what I talked about earlier, is all the noise in your head. Now it's calm.
Mm-hmm. Because I think that I've really learned to fall in love with my journey. Because it's like there's so many. Even my own family will even tell me like, "Oh, you should be so much bigger than you are."
Well, but your family is basing everything on the material things and the money and stuff like that. They based it on they don't know. They base it on the fact is that I know your community is tough, man. It's tough,
Right.
They see all these weddings and all these things where people,
when's going to be yours?
when's going to be yours?
Yeah.
And 500 and 600 of my closest people, and where they complain about the food. They don't shut up when you need them to shut up. And this is all information you've told me. I'm not bagging on Indian people, but I'm telling you right now, my man who does phenomenal South Asian weddings has shared with me how sometimes the difficulties of it.
Well, it's the jadedness, because when you go to let's say 6 to 12 weddings a year, and you're essentially subsetting a significant percentage of your yearly annual income just attending weddings, you become jaded. It's not as much of a special, event. This is also why the beauty is when I do a lot of these South Asian weddings is when we have the non-Indian crowds and seeing their excitement, but their like attentiveness of an urgency of getting to that point that you need them to be at, right? Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to take our seats. Boom, they're the first ones there. And then the Indian families are all taking 14 different group family photos for the WhatsApp. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm having to almost point the mirror back in their faces and be like, look how you're treating this day. And you're almost treating it in a way that you're making it about you, and you're forgetting about the reason that you're here in the first place.
That is true, but I also have learned tremendously. Like a rowdy room, I don't invite a rowdy room anymore. If I'm talking on a microphone and people are not listening to me, I use that thing now. I use it. I'm like, I can't believe how much noise is going on. People just don't want to shut up today. That table over there is not as loud as this table. And now what I've done is now I've gotten people to pay attention to each other.
Right.
Once again, what's the number one rule? People do not, they don't, they don't like hearing about themselves. Everyone loves talking about themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone loves.
Oh, my God.
So in this sense, is that the noisy room, now I'm like, okay, if you guys can be that noisy when we make our introductions to our wedding couple, then you're going to be good. Who's the noisiest person at that table? Now you're having a conversation with them. Now they're no longer ignoring you. You're paying attention to them. And when you pay attention to people, they have a tendency to fall in line. These are the subtleties that you learn along the way, in that sense. And when I go to events and I hear people shush people, I literally feel like that I'm going to vomit.
Why?
Because, man, I mean, they're not 2-year-olds.
Yeah.
You don't even shush a 2-year-old anymore.
Yeah.
Shh, stop crying. No, you don't shush. You don't shush.
Yeah.
I mean, shushing to me is lazy. To me, it says to me that you are ill prepared and you're lazy.
Well, I will just as a slight argument to that. When I've had, let's say, like there's like a speech happening, and let's say that there's a large or like the majority of tables, and people are clattering and talking, and there's just a lot of vocal chaos that's happening during.
Absolutely.
I subtly on the microphone, I'll just kind of do a soft little like. Just kind of low key on the
No
thing.
shushing.
It's worked. It's worked though.
Yeah,
it would calm the room.
It may be that, but I think what's more impactful is that I believe that you, Sean, sitting with your beautiful fiance, appreciate the importance of what's going to come out of our best man's mouth.
Right.
So your attention is welcomed. If you can address people in that sense, is that whatever conversation you're having right now, we have one that is worthy of your ear.
But like the speech is already happening, right? It's being executed and it's happening.
Well, if it's already happening, then you have to roll with what you're going and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think what's important is that in prep, you talk to the couple. Hey, when you've gone, are your people going to shut up when you need to talk or not? They're like, no. Okay, cool. As long as I know what I'm dealing with, and this is enough. As long as you know what you're dealing with, then it's easy.
Yeah.
But if it comes up in real time, where sometimes I mean, people just won't act right, in that sense, then that's where I feel like that your level of professionalism really has to show. Okay, and you can address that in a way that your experience lets them know your experience.
Yeah.
So in that sense, listen, if it works, then it works. Okay. At the end of the day,
Now it doesn't work. I'm gonna be thinking like, you don't shush people. That's
yeah. I mean, but that's my own strong philosophy over years and years of talking with people. Because here's the thing that I do that most people may not realize is most of the time the events that I do is that they're multicultural, but for the most part I'm doing events for people who I didn't grow up like they grew up. So imagine this, and this is our job. Imagine any other professional profession, lawyer, doctor, accountant, this, that, so on and so forth. Imagine if they had the criteria to do their job that we have to. Walk into a room, walk into a room, get their attention to be effective, and to get them to respond to you at a very high level in a short period of time, and you can't fail.
Yeah.
That's the blueprint in which we have to deal with events as MCs and DJs.
Mm-hmm.
Walk into the room, get people's attention, to get them to respond at a very high level, to capture their attention, and to do it in a specific amount of time, and not fail. Think about that for just think about it. That's our job. So when it comes to doing what we do, give yourself some credit. Give yourself some credit, because to get strangers to listen to you is just as difficult as trying to get a 2-year-old to clean his room. It's virtually impossible.
I want to before we
Wrap it up.
Yeah, before we wrap it up, I want to talk about this point, because this is, I think, a struggling point of myself. I mean, I don't think it's any specific event, but I always had a struggle with dealing with the idea of, in our role of what we do on events and whatnot, that, like, say for example, somebody comes up, or like you know, fumbled with the words as you're introducing another.
So you made a mistake.
One small.
You pronounced something wrong, or something happened.
Whatever it is, and it's like, it doesn't matter how many good moments you produce. That's like the only thing that they think about.
Well, here's the thing.
You know?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you always have to lean into the one thing as entertainers, is that it's never how you start.
It's how you finish.
It's how you finish.
Right.
How
But
you
like it's just like, you know, let's say post event, and then you did a great job. Oh my God, it was so much fun. Had some trouble saying this person's name. I'm like,
yeah, but you know what? You squashed that in the beginning.
Yeah.
You know what? Here's the thing. Little pro tip. If you mess up somebody's name, you stop, you acknowledge that you messed them up. Say, listen, I blew that one. And the reason why is that I am just as excited for you to move forward. With your permission, can I do a redo? And people will always say yes.
Yeah.
And now,
I just carry it for. I mean, just
yeah,
carry
but
it
I'm
forward and move
saying
on.
to you, if it's that noticeable, or if the audience responds and tells you that's wrong, that's not the right name, and you say thank you. I even in my amazing job, there are times where I get excited beyond my words. So I'm gonna try this again, and I want to say thank you to that lady in the back who helped me out. Everybody, right now, let's do this again.
Yeah.
And guess what happens? No one's gonna look at you and go, "That guy's a dick." They're gonna think you even cooler for taking the L. Once again, what we talked about earlier: take the L and move on, instead of trying to bury it.
Right. Okay, yeah, that's fair. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there's too many hours of conversation that me and this man can have.
So what I will do is that if you'll have me back on the show, let's just pick one subject next time and just talk about that, because we have so many different things.
There's too many things that you and I can talk about.
Absolutely.
But we end the show the same exact way every single time. And I will also note that we did this episode with 0 breaks. There's always usually around the 45-minute mark that I always take a quick pause. We have a quick breather and just kind of recollect and then go back. Not with this one. Not right here. Because it's too good, too real, and too out of this world to Marz and back. So we end the show the same exact way, where I have my guests leave off with a final sentiment that you're going to look into that camera and leave off to the world. The way I like to frame it is that if this could possibly be the last thing that you may or may not say on video or audio, you're just going to leave off with a final message out to the world, however and whatever you would like to say. It is you, Marz. Go ahead.
If this is the last thing that I say on video, I want to say, girls, I love you with everything that I am. Let the wind be your guide. Always do whatever you do in life with passion, and always walk toward the light.
Yeah. You could do it.